Welcome to the Men of Honor. My name is Corey, your host, and today we're going to be talking about confidence. And there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to confidence, and it's always spoken about in the context of dating. Whenever you talk up to a man about dating and asking a girl out and everything else, they always default to say, "I don't have the confidence to doing it," and my answer usually is. I think you do have the confidence because if I take you out of the scenario of dating, there's something that you're passionate about, that you're really good at, and whenever you're in that realm, you show a lot of confidence. And the reason why is because you've practiced it long enough to master it, and once you master it, then you confidently go about doing the task that you're doing. So usually, as men, we get approach anxiety, especially when it comes to dating, and or we have experienced some sort of rejection, and because of that, we don't push on from there to actually continue practicing and putting ourselves in those situations that we don't have enough practice, that we end up getting confident or at least mastering it. And I remember the first time I actually discovered that confidence is within inside me, because I think there's this preconceived idea that you have to do a certain thing, a few things, in order to feel confident, and to some extent you do, but the main thing is that the confidence is already inside you, and it's something that is not only that comes out on one specific task. It's something that you already have. The reason why you fail to be confident in other areas of your life is because you just have not mastered the skills or understand the skills or the formula or something, or the strategy. There's certain things that you don't quite understand about it, that if you gain understanding, then you can confidently go in and execute. So in my previous experience in the dating scene, I remember the first time I discovered this. I'd been going out for a lot of times, and the one thing that I quickly understood was that I lacked the skill to actually approach and confidently speak to a woman and gain attraction. And even my goal at the time would be just to get a number so I can set up a date and everything else. So I remember I would get rejected very often, and me and my friend, we made a pact that regardless of what's going to happen, we're just going to keep approaching, and we set ourselves, just at least 5 to 10 rejections a day. And this is the time when I moved into London, so we could literally do this on Piccadilly Circus. So for any of you that's ever gone to the centre of London and you've been to Piccadilly Circus, it's like there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that walk past within every hour. So you could literally approach consistently, and you'd be having different groups of people going past. So we're literally approaching every single day. And luckily enough, we would approach and then we'd debrief and see what we did wrong. And for a long time, we thought we were to change things outwardly. And I remember we would debrief and say, maybe it's the body language, maybe it's we got in too much into the personal space, maybe we're not projecting our voice loud enough, maybe we didn't have eye contact, maybe we're not dressed well enough. And with all these are the reasons why we're getting rejected. Up until one day, I remember we were in a restaurant, and we met some girls that we already knew and were friends. And I remember we were just sitting with them, we were talking, and the vibe was so good in terms of just joking and laughing, that when they left, we maintained that joking vibe and we're feeling good. And I remember the first time I approached somebody with that good vibe, it just clicked. Everything just went well. I didn't run out of things to say. I just kept, and part of it was the fact that when we were joking with the other girls, we're talking about personal amusement. They were saying that guys often think about it. In fact, that's one of the most pivotal conversations in terms of my own journey in terms of the game. They were talking about what this girl. She goes, guys are always so concerned about what to talk about. When you get into your head and start thinking about what you need to talk about, you end up not knowing what to talk about, just let go, and because she had said that, and we're laughing about it, and they were laughing at us as well, because they would see us go out and then just get rejected and get rejected, and that's the reason why we had such a good vibe, and it was like the most pivotal things that somebody, and most profound things somebody said to me. And I remember that day I just decided I'm just going to let go, and instead of trying to impress her and trying to say something that is funny and trying to say the best line, let me just go out there and say hello and amuse myself. And because I was going there with the intention of just being happy and have a good vibe and amuse myself, it worked perfectly. And I thought it was just just that one occasion, and then it happened again, and then it happened again, over and over. We started getting results, and we thought maybe it was just day game. So a day game is when you approach and during the day on the street. So we transitioned to try and do the same in night game, which is clubs. So we started going to clubs and pubs and doing the same thing. And that was like the most pivotal time when it came to my game, that I realized it's got nothing to do with the looks. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do, and all of that helps. So don't get me wrong. Don't let yourself go and not have a six pack. And when you've got a six pack, it definitely helps when you've got muscles. It definitely helps if you're a rich guy and you dress really well. It all helps, but bottom line, it always comes down to how you feel about yourself. That I realized that day that confidence is already within inside me. I just have to come out of the way in terms of I shouldn't think that I need to do something in order to make it work. In terms of I need to make her laugh in order to make it work, or I need to have this in order to make it work. Because when you become dependent on the other thing that is out externally, then it doesn't appeal to anyone, because it just comes across as though you're trying too hard, and whenever you try too hard, then it repels. And I think I need to just briefly talk about this, and this is definitely a topic for another episode. The reason why people don't like somebody who tries too hard is that inside us we got a thing that wants us to be part of a community, and we got something within us that whenever you feel rejected, you start calibrating yourself in order to get the approval of that person. So if you get the approval of that person, because they're now part of your tribe, your setup, or the way your brain works, is always to try and gain relationships with those that you feel like you cannot gain relationships with. So, and I'm probably botching the way I'm trying to explain this. I'm going to have to figure out a better way of explaining this. But the concept is that most people like people that feel like they're not chasing them. So it's almost like the thrill of the chase. Then whenever a girl comes into your ecosystem and then she realizes that you're not presenting the dick, you're not trying to bend your world in order to impress her, you're not trying to, she at that point comes into attention, like you're the only guy who's not trying to, of course she knows that you're trying to get into her pants, but she knows, she feels the fact that you're not pushing as hard as everybody else, and because of that it's sort of takes it off balance and makes it want to chase you. And it's a weird thing that I'm really struggling to explain right now, but that's how it works. And this is the reason why when you focus on personal amusement, she gets into that bubble. Like, I like the fact that this guy is just so confident. He's talking about his self-deprecation. I do that quite a lot. So is one of my favorite lines. It's nothing to do with the line. It's everything to do with the concept. Like, one line that I used to like, if somebody tried to scare me, or a girl, whatever, is when she goes boo and stuff. I was like, oh, I don't get scared. And then usually it goes, oh, why don't you get scared? And I'll say, oh, I only get scared when I look in the mirror because I'm a little girl on the inside, or something like that. And they would laugh and find it funny. And a guy who's trying to impress her will be like, oh, I've got so many muscles, I got this, and I'm never scared because I'm a man. I go to the most lowest thing that I'm really, really trying not I'm really trying hard not to impress you, and because I'm trying hard not to impress her, it eases off. Again, part of it is the fact that it eases off pressure as well. So the moment I say I've got muscles and I look amazing, so it almost puts pressure on her that she has to feel impressed. And when you take away pressure off the interaction and you make it into a fun conversation where you can just joke around, in English we call it take the piss, it becomes a more fun vibe, and usually that's where the attraction comes as well. And I think before other episodes we've talked about chunking, so it seems like I'm now taking I'm really apologize because I usually come on the episode wanting to get one concept, and it seems like I've just thrown a massive amount of concepts. In fact, I've been machine gunning different concepts, so let me bring it back a bit. The other stuff I think we'll have to debrief and break it down on different other podcast episodes. In this episode, we're talking about just letting go and for you to be confident. And the main thing that you need to do is actually let go and be out of, get out of the way. Don't try and be confident. Don't try to be confident. Just concentrate on personal amusement. Concentrate on yourself as in, how can I enjoy this interaction? And when you enjoy that interaction, how do you bring them into that interaction? And I think I will leave you with this last concept, and it's related to confidence. You have to be relatable as well. So you have to be self-amusing, but you have to be also relatable. So I cannot go with fairies and say, what, I really like butterflies, therefore it's so amazing. It should be also relatable to the context of where you are. So talking about if you're in a club, then obviously the conversation has to be relatable to the person that you're talking to. But at the same time, the premise of that conversation should come from a place of self-amusement. So I hope that answers the question. And I hope it creates a question. So if you do have questions for this, you can come to my Instagram and ask me the questions that you have got. Hopefully it's created some questions. But also I hope it's sort of answers the question as well, that, how do I become more confident in terms of the dating context? If you're going to talk to a partner or a future partner, how do you approach and make it into a fun vibe? And the key is you letting go and not being in the way. Because the moment you try, it kills the interaction, pretty much kills the interaction. Some guys have actually, done the impressing thing and end up getting the girl. But I tend to find that sometimes she might have her own issues, and then you get into this relationship, then you've got these massive issues as well. But I'm talking from the context of a really confident girl, the one that you've always desired, that is confident, that is funny, that is amazing, that is a 10, usually they come from a place of that she's always got this validation from men. The fact that she ends up seeing somebody who's really into self-amusement and is willing to bring her within that in a relatable way, always becomes a massive key in terms of building interactions and building relationships with really beautiful people that you're attracted to. So thank you very much for listening. To learn more of this stuff, you join the Man of Honor Facebook group. I'm beginning to start to create content plan content for the Man of Honor Facebook group. Going to be talking about business, going to be talking about relationships. And before I was a little bit apprehensive on what I need to talk about, but I've been getting a lot of questions on my DMs. So I'll be definitely going deep diving into different concepts. Some of them I've already sort of let them out of the bag, but the key one today was you getting out of the way. So thank you very much. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon, and I've got a few exciting things coming up very soon. So I've got podcast guests now messaging as well, saying they want to be on the podcast. So there's a lot of amazing speakers that are going to be coming. I'm really excited. Some of them are actually personally excited for myself. So I'll be very selfish with that in terms of just learning from these guys. Some of these guys are really amazing that are going to be coming on. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, definitely we'll be catching up with you guys soon. I've got another one in episode that is in the draft. So I'll be probably taking out that one tomorrow if I don't want to record another one. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.